need to get outsiders, the professionals from the public accounting firm, from the private, from the government sector to come to tell us about what do you do every day, right? And how much you get, right? Maybe they tell you, right? And so you can see that for the public accounting, they provide service, right? They provide accounting service. So if it's a small accounting firms, public accounting firms, they will provide write-up. Write-up is just a report every day's transaction for the small business, right? And restaurants, they collect the receipts, right? And every week they just dump to you, right? And then you start to record the transaction for them, and we call it write-up, right? And you have to do some monthly adjustments, quarterly and yearly adjustments for different kinds of companies. And sometimes you have to prepare financial statements for them, and so that they will be able to submit to the government. And do tax, right? Payroll tax, sales tax, you name it, income tax, property tax, the gift tax, estate tax, right? For different people, right? And also they do auditing, right? Auditing service to the corporations is required, especially that they are public health company, right? So they need to hire a CPA company from the outside to do the auditing for them, right? And also consulting about business choices if they go to the China market, right? So they would like to get some consulting information from the big four now. When I worked for KPMG, it was big 8, and now kind of narrowed down to big 4. Right? So they do provide consulting to different companies and also others. Right? You probably heard that. I don't know whether you watch Miss USA. I don't. But you know that someone has to be behind the scene to count the vote. I don't know, American Idols, they probably do that too. So they hire what? They hire public accounting firms to do that, right? So there will be some revenues that generate from the other services that public accounting firms provide. And the next is, okay, what qualification you need so that you can go for a public accounting a career. Usually that you need to have a bachelor's degree, right, before year 2000. And now they have adopted 150 credit requirement. That means that after you got a bachelor's degree with 120 credits, you have to have an additional 30 credits to be able to sit for the CPA exam, right? So a lot of schools, they start to create a master's degree to fulfill that 30 credits, additional credits. So now, from now on, new CPA, they are going to have a what? Master's degree as well, all right? And so you need a CPA license, right? At beginning of 3 years, if you will be lucky, hired by one of the big 4 or maybe the large national accounting firms, the first 3 years, they're going to put you to the clients to do the audit, right? They're going to send you to the client companies, right? The clients, their customers, and you're going to do the auditing for the firm. And within 3 years, if you don't get your CPA passed, they're going to let you go, right? So the time is really crucial for you, right? So that's why a lot of people try to take a CPA right after school, because once you start to work, they put you to work 80 hours a week, not 40 hours, 80 hours a week, right? And they pay you high. I'll show you the salary range in a moment, right? So they are looking for someone who have excellent oral and written skills, right? You have to, be able to stand up and present your outcome anytime to an audience like this, right? And so they like you to have a lot of excellent communication skills. People skills too, because you will be sent to the client's company, right? Because you're going to talk to the client's employees to be able to gather information from them. So you have to have excellent people skills to be able to handle the job, right? Of course, there will be other specialties that they will be required, like if you have a law degree, knowledge about law, and if you have a knowledge about IT skills, they need that too, because they provide consulting services, right? right? So that's the specialty will come in that area. And so here you see that these are the big four international companies, right? You've probably heard that, Deloitte Touche and Thomas, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and PricewaterhouseCoopers, right? And of course, it depends on how you look at them. You know, sometimes they claim they are the top, you know, the biggest one. And the other says the second, third, fourth. Depends on the number of employees you're looking at, or the number, the revenues that they generate. Right? So they change from time to time. Right? So basically, these are the big four. Right? It would be good that if you can work for the big four right out of the school, just for a couple of years, in case if you did not pass CPA, right, in the third year. And you can move on. A lot of people that went to a big four to begin with, right, and worked for the 5, 7 years after, and then they would go to a local company to become a CFO of that company. A lot of people do that, right? So it will be an excellent opportunity of the big four experience. And you carry that with you on the resume, like I did. So now people look at my resume and say, gee, KPMG, right? That was the top two, right? The second largest at the time, right? So that experience carried me, right, till now, even though that you have no idea what I did over there, right? That's all right. But people will know, wow, with that gold label, right, that carries forever. And these are the salary ranges based on what you do, right? So small firm, medium firms, and large firms, and depends on the duties you do. Auditing, tax, and management service, right? So that will be the salary range that you will be getting. And work for 3 to 5 or 5 to 7 years, you move up to the managers, and maybe another couple of years move to the director's position, and maybe another few years you will become partners, right? And so that will be, you know, the process that you have to go for, right? And now the private, right? Private is just like any companies that we see in the daily life, right? Walmart, right? Utility companies, right? These are all private companies, and they have a need, right? They have a need that, you know, to provide accounting information to users, right? Internally and externally, right? Internally, there will be people running for the company, and they need the information like accounts receivable, accounts payable, right? So that they can get manage their cash flows, right? And